Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Software Engineer K, and today we've got some really interesting stuff to go through. There was an exploit that was discovered, and I know a few other users may have discovered it. It allowed you to get unlimited gems. I'm not kidding, you could buy gems and there was a way to just basically get endless transactions. Now, things like this may occur from time to time, things do get abused, and it's knowing what to do in these situations, because someone did the right thing. They kind of raised it with me, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly what happened. On top of that, we did have the Labbit drop, and this time I actually had no success with the ultra rare, because I know in the last few videos whenever we had drops, I usually try and get the ultra rare and I get lucky, but this time I would show you guys, even when you do everything right, you can still get unlucky. But just on the point of drops, there was an idea that I shared with the team and that they are now kind of discussing with regards to kind of making the drops more fair, because we did see a little bit of an update with that today as well. And lastly, I just wanted to touch on the price right before we go into the new Back to the Future drop, which should be really cool. So if you just go straight to Twitter now, there was this video that's been circulating today, so I'll just show this to you guys. Okay, so someone here, they've got emulators which are running multiple instances of the VeVe mobile app, and they've got it set up to the ultra rares and then just one rare there, so I think there's about 6 in total. Now, I have mixed opinions firstly on the use of emulators, and I've discussed this with Reese as well, who actually had, when I first heard him talk about it, had a very similar opinion to myself. So firstly, am I opposed to the use of an emulator? Now, if you are just emulating a phone on a computer, nothing else, and you're using that, then I'm not against that. That's perfectly fine, just because there are people with really janky ass phones out there that cannot, barely run Internet Explorer on there, Chrome or whatever, like really bad phones. So those people are disadvantaged straight away. If all you're doing is just running a phone on a desktop, then that's fine. And people might argue and say, oh, you could have multiple instances of an emulator. You can have 3 emulators on one desktop running. Well, there are people who have 3 phones. They're not going to be disadvantaged. So really, you're just now disadvantaging people based on how much money they have. Because some people have the money to buy, 10 phones even. Or, they're privileged enough that they, live at home where everyone has, multiple devices. They just borrow, their family's devices, 10 devices, and that's perfectly fine. So that, again, is not a very good solution, just straight up preventing people from having another way of accessing the app. Now, what I am highly against is people using emulators in conjunction with scripts or bots with macros, because those will allow them to buy at absolute inhuman precision, and that I think just should not be allowed, because they can buy on multiple devices all concurrently at the exact drop time. That just makes it completely unfair. So how do you actually combat this? Now, there has been one idea that was circulating, which I have shared with the team, and they actually thought it was a good idea. So it goes to show that they do respond to these ideas, and it's to use a captcha when you buy. Now the reason why this is probably the best solution, in my opinion, is firstly, the ultimate thing that Dan Crothers in an AMA, he said that he just did not want to touch because of the possible repercussions, would be to accidentally block a legitimate user, because they live at home with a family, all of the family loves VeVe, they participate in drops together, most likely they are using the same Wi-Fi router because they're at home. What that's going to do is, if they block users like that because they're using multiple devices under the same connection or whatever, they could accidentally block a family where they're perfectly fine legitimate VeVe users. And we know that customer service, just in all companies, is probably not optimal. I imagine VeVe is probably similar, just because they have such few staff, how many tickets they get. So you could end up having weeks even where you're waiting for the resolution of your account, and during that time you have your favorite drop and you miss it just because your account has been wrongfully blocked. So that is just something that should not be touched at all. Now, the way that the captcha solves it is, firstly, people with bots, they can't solve the captcha with the bots, so that's done. The bots are kicked out. Secondly, people with multiple devices that aren't, in a family where they're under a roof, You know, imagine having 10 devices and you're trying to solve 10 captures on your own. Like, that is not happening. You can do it in like one device, you know, and you might get lucky and get the drop, but yeah, you're not going to be do multiple. But if there's a family of you guys, 10 of you, and you all have your own device, then most likely you will be fine to get your drop wherever it is. So I think this is a very, very good solution. And from a programmatic point of view, based off of the other solutions that they kind of stipulated, this should be a quite straightforward one to implement. More straightforward than kind of the other ideas that they've probably discussed as well. So I think this is really, really good. Now, secondly, was the point on the gem exploit. Now, I'm just going to read this email to you guys. It says, I'm just reaching out on behalf of the team regarding the in-app purchase gem exploit you discovered and reported to the team. We've identified the issue and are patching it at the moment. We appreciate your honesty, and even though we don't have a bug bounty program in place, we've decided to allow you to keep the gems you were able to obtain as a way of saying thanks for being so honest. We'd appreciate it if you didn't use the exploit again, although it should be patched very shortly, or share information on the exploit with others. Interesting. I believed we did have a bug bounty program, so has that been decommissioned? I'll need to ask someone from the Ecomi team, because I don't think I actually did receive any gems for the bugs that I did report. But yeah, that'll be interesting to know if this has like been stopped or, you know, postponed or whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty important to know and take into consideration as well. Now, what I did also want to just touch on is my luck with the ultra rare drop. So as you guys can see, I was forced to buy off the secondary market, and I would have preferred not to, but you know, things don't always go our way. So what I did end up doing is I bought it off the secondary market, and you guys can kind of see here, I've got it in my showroom, which is pretty cool. And you know, things go wrong all the time. And I just apply the same strategy I always apply, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it is what it is. But you guys can see that my showroom is getting pretty populated. There are some performance issues now for me just because of how many collectibles I have in this one showroom, and that's just as a result of my phone. And I do have a pretty powerful phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy S21, but on the desktop app, the web app, we shouldn't really have these performance issues just because desktops, computers, laptops, they tend to be more powerful than handheld devices anyway. So that's going to be another positive. So you guys can kind of see I've got my whole Labbit collection here. And what I really like about these Labbits is when you zoom in, you can really see, so this is what Trevor was talking about, is the texturing on these. You can literally see, you know, the individual strands of wool or, you know, whatever material they're made of. So I'm pretty happy with it. My favorite is the actual mustache one, which is the one that I really wanted. So I'm pretty happy I got that. But yeah, I definitely need to try and get some more room in my showroom. So yeah, I'm also looking for the showroom elements, whole kind of plinths and everything that will be coming soon. So pretty excited for that. Now, lastly, we do have the hoverboard drop. So I am going to now, rather than pressing drop 1 second before, I think I'm just going to do it on the exact actual drop time, because I missed it today by doing it 1 second before. Now I'm not sure if it's because maybe they've kind of optimized the back end more. Maybe my connection was just faster, or maybe it would all of them had already been reserved by the time my transaction had gone through. I'm not sure, but with 3,333 editions, I do see this being more obtainable. The rest of them, there are quite a lot of editions, 4,444, so I don't see this selling out like straight away. To be honest, I don't see any of the other ones selling out straight away. Only the ultra rare, I believe, should be kind of like the main target for people. So yeah, a little bit more doable this time around. Now, lastly, the price of Omi for today. So we can see that Omi has been staying in this zone perfectly, has touched this trend line and then come down. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be breaking out of this kind of zone anytime soon until we get a kind of like good solid catalyst. We do have some coming. You know, we've got Comic-Con, we've got Immutable X, we've got, you know, some major license announcements as well. We've got some good stuff coming. So I'm personally not fussed. I'm just going to continue accumulating Omi at these prices. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to go through with you guys today. We will have to drop soon, so let's hope we get some good luck with that. But yeah, as always, please do like and subscribe to the content. and I'll keep you guys updated with anything else I found out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.